Namaskar. Hello and a very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners in today's Gyan Darshan session. I am Dr. Geetika S. Johry, faculty at School of Vocational Education and Training and Program Coordinator for the Diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting program. Learners, our today's session is on practical aspects related to two courses, that is BPOI-006, which is English Communication, and BPOI-007, IT Skills, which are being offered under two different programs offered by School of Vocational Education and Training. And the two programs under which these courses are being offered is Diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting and Certificate in Communication and IT Skills. So before we start today's session, let's briefly discuss about what are the main objectives of these two particular programs being offered by the School of Vocational Education and Training. Firstly, both these programs are innovative programs in the open and distance learning mode. The DBPOFA and the CCITSK program, they are targeted towards undergraduates, graduates and all working professionals. The finance and accounting domain, which is being offered in semester 1 under the DBPOFA program, it ensures imbibing key skills in the areas of finance and accounting in the BPO sector. As far as the course on English communication is concerned, this course will help the learners improve their English communication in the areas of listening, speaking, reading and writing. Talking about the course on IT skills, which is again being offered in both these two programs, this program will make a learner competent in the skills of MS Word, MS PowerPoint, MS Excel and MS Access. At the same time, both these programs, they provide opportunities to the students across all over India to develop their professional as well as communication and IT skills to be eligible for employment in the BPO industry. Both these courses, they incorporate a unique blend of theory and practical courses. We can see learners that for these these two courses, BPOI-006 and BPOI-007, verbal examination and term and practical examination, they are held once the term and examination theory exams get over. So we can see that both these courses, they have a practical component, and that is what we are going to discuss in today's session. So let us have a look at the program structure. Now, talking about the Diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting program, this entire program is divided into two semesters, semester 1 and semester 2. When we look at semester 1, this is 16 credits and it has the following 5 courses. The first course is BPOI-101, which is Introduction to Finance and Accounting BPO. The second is BPOI-102, which is Fundamentals of Accounting. The third course is BPOI-103, which is Procure to Pay, which is also called as P2P or Accounts Payable. The fourth course is BPOI-104, which is Order to Cash, also called as O2C. And the last course, which is being offered under semester 1, is BPOI-105, which is Record to Report, also called as R2R. Now, learners, when we see the second semester under the Diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting program, we can see that there are two courses which are being offered. Again, both these courses are of 8 credits each, making it to 16 credits. Now, the course BPOI-006, which is English Communication, and the course BPOI-007, which is IT Skills, though both these courses are offered under semester 2 in the DBPOFA program, but these two courses are also being offered as under a standalone program, which is called the Certificate in Communication and IT Skills. So we can see that these two courses, they are serving two purposes. One, it is being offered in the Diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting program in semester 2. And another, these two courses are being offered as a standalone program by the name of Certificate in Communication and IT Skills. Now, you can see that here we have mentioned that there is an exit option after semester 1, which is available for working professionals. So all those learners, you know, who are already working in the BPO industry or any other kind of industry, in case they want to exit out of this semester 1, they have to fill up an experience certificate from the organization. It has to be signed and stamped and has to be submitted to the authorities, where they will get, instead of a diploma in BPO Finance and Accounting, they will be getting a certificate in BPO and Accounting, Finance and Accounting in BPO. So this kind of an exit option is only available for working professionals. And those who are not working, they have to complete the entire diploma. talking about, since we are talking about the practical aspects here, we have also just mentioned that the examination fees with respect to practical and verbal examination has to be paid by the learners in case they are also going in for semester 2 courses. Now, let us look at the weightage of the final results in the grade card. When we see the final grade card, we can see that the courses which are being offered under semester 1, which is BPOI 101 till BPOI 105, the weightage of term and examination is 70%, and the weightage of continuous evaluation in the form of assignments is 30%. When we're talking about courses which are being offered under semester 2 or courses which are being offered under the standalone program of certificate in communication and IT skills, as I said, there are two courses, BPOI-006 and BPOI-007. We can see that, the weightage of term and examination as far as 006 is concerned is 65%. The weightage of your continuous evaluation in the form of assignments is 20%, and weightage for your verbal examination is 15%. Similarly, when we talk about BPOI-007, which is the course on IT skills, the weightage for the term and examination theory is 50%, weightage for assignments is 20%, and weightage for the term and practical examination is 30%. Now, at this point of time, learners, I also want to tell you that each of these components have to be cleared by the students individually with 40% marks. It is not that you have to score overall 40% marks. Whether you're going for an assignment, you have to clear it with 40% marks. Whether you're preparing for term and examination theory papers, you have to have 40% marks. And whether you're having a verbal exam or a term and practical component as far as the IT skills course is concerned, there also you have to clear it with 40% marks. So we can say that 40% is the marks, and you have to obtain and pass in order to get a diploma or a certificate. Now, before moving on to the practical aspects, let us see what is the curriculum of the two courses are. So, firstly, let us begin with the brief syllabi of the course of BPOI-006, which is on English communication, or also known as communication skills. Now, this entire course has been divided into eight blocks. So, let's have a look at what is there in each of the blocks. Block 1 talks about social skills in business communication. Here we have 4 units: greetings and introduction, importance of small talk in business, language and culture, business etiquettes. Moving on to block 2, it is telephone conversation. Again, we have 4 blocks here. The first unit is features of telephone communication, making arrangements and appointments, leaving and taking messages, voice call, video conferencing or con call, which is also called as conference calls. Now, the third block is business correspondence, and this covers modes of communication: internal business correspondence 1, internal business correspondence 2, external business correspondence 1, and external business correspondence 2. Moving on to block 4, this block is on customer service, and here the discussion is basically on the different types of customers, what are the essentials of customer service, what is ownership and accountability, how do you handle complaints, what do you mean by rapport building and empathy and probing. So these all units have been covered under block 4. Now moving on to block 5, which is on presentations. Again, we have presentation skills 1, which basically discusses about what are the essentials of presentation skills. Then there is presentation skills 2, which talks about outlines and structures. There is presentation skills 3, which discusses how you are using visual aids in the presentation, and presentation skills 4 talks about how you end your presentation. Moving on to block 6, learners, this is on meetings. Here we have discussed about how you have to set up an agenda for the meeting and how a meeting is to be planned, what are the different types of meetings, how one has to conduct and participate in the meetings 1 and 2. Now moving on to block 7, which is cross-cultural communication. Here we are going to be discussing about communicating across cultures, traveling on businesses, communicating in BPO, and ability to say no. And the last block under the English communication skills course is getting ready for a job. Here basically we are preparing you for the job. So there are units on how to prepare for a job, how will you write your curriculum vitae, your CV, that is, how will you make your portfolio, what should your portfolio contain, and how will you prepare and face an interview, whether it is a telephonic interview, whether it is a face-to-face interview, or whether it is a walk-in interview, And of course, the last unit which we are covering under this block is group discussions. So this is the entire brief syllabi of the English communication skills course. Now moving on to the practical aspects of it. Of course, you will be giving your term and theory examinations based on all these blocks. Now when you have to appear for your verbal exam, which is your practical component, let us have a look what do you mean by the verbal exam or the viva. The oral or the verbal exam or the viva voce, basically learners, it is a practice in many schools and disciplines in which the examiner, mainly they pose questions to the student in spoken form. It is in the spoken form, not in the written form. The student, they have to answer the question in such a way as to demonstrate sufficient knowledge of the subject to pass the exam. Literally, viva voce means with the living voice, because you are having a conversation, with the examiner. There is a two-way communication with the examiner. So we can say that it means with the living voice. That is by the word of mouth or as opposed to writing. This is just opposite to writing. So the viva examination is where you will have to give a verbal knowledge or a presentation of your learned skills in the areas of topic development, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, fluency, intonation, accent, and paraphrasing. Now learners, here you can see in this particular slide, there is an assessment grid. So when the verbal examination of we are taking in a verbal exam, he or she will be assessed, on these parameters. So this is an assessment grid, and here, we have given different parameters on the basis of which a learner will be assessed. It contains topic development, it contains grammar, there is vocabulary, there is accent, there is pronunciation, there is fluency, there is intonation, there is paraphrasing. And a student or a learner will be scored from 1 point till 0.5. So if, we have given some topic to a learner, and if his topic development is poor, obviously we will be giving him 1 point. If his pronunciation is good, we will be giving him 3 points. If his intonation is okay, means average, we will be giving him 2 points. So that means the minimum point is 1 and the maximum point is 5, on the basis of which the learner will be evaluated. Now, what is the format or what is the procedure of this verbal examination going to be? Now, all the viva examinations are different. So, it is just not possible to describe exactly what happens. But, there are certain general information or general points which can be helpful for preparing for the verbal examination. Now, when the student will come for the verbal examination, the examiner will, of course, start up with a warm-up exercise in the form of just asking what is his name, how did he reach this place of the examination or the center? How was his journey? Was it a very pleasant journey or was it a very tiresome journey? And did he enjoy reading or did she enjoy reading the course? So these are just, very informal questions to put the student or the learner at ease, so that, before the viva exam, he becomes very comfortable. Now, of course, the examiner, they will be, asking the questions on different topics. So some of the topics can be from the study material, from the SLM or from the blocks which we have already covered. Or some can be, general topics related to English, or some topics which are actually, related to English, which is at the workplace. So here we have given some examples of the kind of topics which the student can be, asked to prepare for the verbal examination. It can be with regard to your favorite role model. It can be what are the different types of customers, what are the essentials or key features of presentation skills, how do you prepare for a job, what is the importance of time management at workplace, how useful is English in your daily life, what is body language, how can you use it effectively, what is the difference between a telephonic conversation and a face-to-face conversation, and what are the latest best practices in letter writing. So you can see that these are some of the questions which we have tried to pick up from the self-learning material, as well as some very general questions on which the examiner can ask a learner to prepare. Now, as I just mentioned, that the examiner can give a topic from the study material or any general topic related to English. Now, the preparation time to each student, each student will be given a preparation time for about 2 to 3 minutes, which means that once I enter the room of the examiner, of course, I will be put at ease by asking me those informal questions. Then I will be given a topic for to prepare on, like who's your favorite role model, or what are the different type of presentation skills. So this should take me about 2 to 3 minutes to prepare. I should be preparing on these and on the topics which have been given to me for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Then the students will be called separately and asked to make a presentation on the topic based, in the face to face mode. So I will be facing the examiner, and extempore I have to speak on the topic which has been given to me for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then during that course of my presentation, we can have an interaction. The examiner can have an interaction with the students based on the topic. So we can see learners that the entire process, right from the warming up exercise to the interaction with you, should not be for more than 10 to 15 minutes. So again, as we mentioned, that during this presentation and interaction, the examiner will evaluate the students on the basis of the assessment grid, where we had those 8 different parameters on topic development, on intonation, on your grammar, your fluency, your paraphrasing, your communication. All these, on these parameters, you will be evaluated. So this is what is there for the course on BPOI-006 learners. Now learners, let us move on to the next course, which is BPOI-007, which is on IT skills. Before going into the practical aspects, let's have a look at what is the brief syllabi of this particular course. Now again, this entire course BPOI-007 IT skills has been divided into 7 blocks. The first block is Introduction to Computers. Again, this has about 4 units, where we will be discussing about introduction to PC, what is storage organization, what is input output devices, what is software, introduction to database management systems. Then when we move on to the second block, which is on software security and antivirus, this will be covering the topics on information security concerns, what is software vulnerabilities, network security and authentication. Moving on to the third block, which is on web-based technologies. This will cover internet, an overview of it, what is the concept of web browsers, what is network security and authentication. Then the fourth block, which will be on introduction to MS Office. This will be covering MS Word and MS PowerPoint. The fifth block is MS Excel Basics. Here we will be working with worksheets, what is formatting and editing, what are the formulas and functions, what is sorting and filtering, file handling. All have been covered in block 5, which is on MS Excel and Basics. Then Advanced MS Excel and Basics of MS Excel. This will be covering working with multiple sheets and workbooks, working with tables and charts, protecting and printing worksheets, basics of MS Excel. And the last block is on the practical, which is Lab Manual 1 and Lab Manual 2. Here we have covered the entire MS Word, MS PowerPoint, MS Excel and MS Excel. So let us briefly see what is there in your practical manual. When we talk about practical manual 1, this will help the learners to know the installation process of Windows and Linux operating system. They will also, the learners, you will also learn about the application development and writing your own program using C language. At the same time, it will also provide hands-on experience and practical working of MS Word and MS Excel. Now coming on to your practical lab manual 2, this manual will cover the practical working of MS PowerPoint. It will also provide hands-on experience of database design and implementation based on MS Excel. Now what are the modalities for conducting the term and practical examination in the IT skills course? So first and foremost, we can see that the examination will be conducted in the offline mode. Obviously, when you are working hands-on, you have to be present in person at the examination center, and you will be given a machine on which you will be performing hands-on. There will be a question paper which will be given to you, and there will be 5 questions out of 6 questions which you have to attempt. Now each of the questions, of course, will carry 20 marks. The students, they will be required to perform hands-on practical on the computer, which will be related to the questions which is mentioned in the question paper. So when we are saying that, though you will also be preparing for your term and examination theory papers, but as we mentioned, just to assess your skill, we have to have a hands-on practical examination. So here, as we mentioned, whatever is given in the lab manual 1 and lab manual 2, we will be, assessing you on that. So what are the different kind of questions on which you can be assessed? The question will be like, you have to prepare a PPT or a slide about 10 to 12 slides on a particular, we can give you something, we can tell you something, prepare 10 slides on IGNOU, or prepare 10 slides on, some city. So that way you have to prepare your 10 slides. Then there can be questions on mail merge. They can be, we can ask you to, how you letter can be drafted. We can ask you to prepare a graph. We can ask you, how to prepare, something on Excel sheet. There can be questions related to your internet. There can be questions related to your browsers. So this is very important, learners, we need to tell you. Now, learners, now most of you get confused that when your verbal and practical examination will be conducted. Now, all the students who are appearing for their term and examination theory papers in the month of December, they will be appearing for the term and practical examination and verbal examination of both these courses in the month of January of the next year. For example, if you are appearing for term and examination theory papers in December 2024, then in January 2025 you will be appearing, or probably January or February of 2025 you will be appearing for your term and practical examination or verbal examination. Similarly, the learners who are already appearing for examination in the month of June, normally IGNOU conducts examination in the month of December and June, twice in a year. So if you're appearing for your theory examination in the month of June, then in the month of July or August, you will be appearing for your term and practical examination as well as your verbal examination. And in both these cases, learners, you are required to pay the fees. So this is very important. And of course, there is some minimum classes which you all have to attend so that you become eligible to appear for an examination. Most of the time, we see that the students, obviously they skip the theory counseling. But it is very essential for you to, participate in the practical counseling sessions. Because there, in the practical counseling session, there you will be taught hands-on. As we discussed, whatever is given in the lab manual 1 and lab manual 2, we will be discussing there. You will be taught about MS Word, anything related to Word, how to prepare slides using PPT, then even, Excel sheets, where you can use your formulas, your graphs, all these will be taught in your practical sessions. And of course, that is why we always tell our learners that at least you must attend your practical counseling sessions, because, that will make you feel more confident. That will make you feel more, easy, that how you can work on the computer, what kind of questions can come, And, we have been sharing the question papers of the last years, with our learners. So it is very essential that all those learners, when you're appearing for your theory examination or your term and practical or verbal examination, it is very important for you to visit our link of the past year question papers, so that, you're able to see what kind of questions are there, and you can, perform it that way. Even when you're practicing, you can practice it at your own pace, even at home if you're practicing. So, learners, I think so the two courses which are the BPOI-006 and BPOI-007, which are being offered in semester 2 of the DBPOFA program and under the standalone program of Certificate in Communication IT Skills. They have a theory component, they have a practical and a verbal component. And today our session was on practical aspects related to both these courses. I'm sure you must have benefited in today's session. And in case, learners, you have any queries pertaining to the syllabus or, your examination, you can please write to us. At our website. You can visit the IGNOU website, where all the information, all the announcements are given under the IGNOU website homepage itself. It's very handy for all of you. Visit the website. You can see the date sheets are available for you. And for the verbal exam and term and practical examination, as I said, because once your term and examination theory get over, then after that, in the month of January, the date sheet for your term and practical examination and verbal examination will be uploaded. So immediately once theory exams get over, you have to visit the IGNOU website homepage and have a look at what is the date sheet for your examination in your practical and verbal. Though the regional centers will be communicating to you in this regard, but even on the safer side, it is always better that you do visit the website. We will also be, sharing with you all the details with all our learners. So I hope today's session has been useful. In case you have any doubts pertaining to today's session, you can please write to us. My email address is geetikajori@ignou.ac.in. Happy learning, learners, and wishing you all the best. Namaskar.